It's the most famous sign in the world, but it started life as little more than a giant billboard. Since then, it survived neglect and pranks, witnessed suicide, and was saved from destruction by Alice Cooper and Hugh Hefner twice. Today we're talking about the Hollywood sign. Hello and welcome. My name is Dave Warnke and I'm sitting here with Jess Perkins and Matt Stewart. And today we're talking about the Hollywood sign.
What?
I know, it's a surprise to all of us. Mostly me. I've never read this before.
Okay.
Oh.
No, the first question is, have you ever been to Hollywood and seen the famous sign?
Yeah, I went when I was 8, and I'm sure I saw it.
Right, so tick, done.
Yeah, done. No need. I don't particularly remember it, but I'm confident I saw it.
All right, well, spell it then.
Okay. All right. From memory, H.
Oh,
H.
Damn it.
sorry, mispronounced. Got you on a technicality.
All right, well played.
Well, I was there last month, and here's a photo of me eating an apple pie in front of it. That's as close as I got. And if the tax office is watching, that was the sole reason I went to LA, was for this report.
Right. Perfect. Great.
Well, written that off. Okay,
Great.
good.
Okay.
Wait, where
I
is the
can't-
Hollywood sign there?
Yeah.
Is that dot?
If we could just enhance
Oh.
and enhance.
Okay.
And there it is.
That's
I
a big
assume.
pie.
Yeah, the pie was bigger than my face.
That's a big pie, yeah.
There's actually debate as to how Hollywood, as we know it, got its name. What we do know is that a real estate developer called H.J. Whiteley bought 500 acres of land in the area now known as Hollywood, and later on in 1887 the name Hollywood was recorded on the land's deed. But one story that I like to believe is true goes like this.
That's strong.
And you'll see this. Whitley apparently saw a man carrying wood in a wagon and asked what the man was doing. And he said, hauling wood.
Uh-huh.
But because he had a thick accent,
Yes.
Whitley misheard and thought he said, Hollywood.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Now you
I
can
did
see-
not see where that was going. I'm like, what a boring story. This feels pointless.
You're like,
Get to Hollywood.
Well, strap in for the next few minutes. I enjoy any story where you mishear an accent.
Oh, yeah.
It happens so often.
So often. But either way, that became the name of the area, which in 1907 became home to a film industry when a small Chicago film company headed west for a film shoot.
From the Windy City.
Oh,
Chicago.
By 1912, 15 studios had set up and the industry boomed. Americans went cinema crazy, and Hollywood and the dreams and aspirations of that star-studded lifestyle that we all still want so badly
I mean,
exploded.
some of us want, some of us get, am I right?
We are sitting in our mansion. Library.
Hollywood, for context, Hollywood is kind of like the Silicon Valley for film.
Now I get it.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much.
I just wanted to put it in a terms a nerd like you would understand.
Thank you. I hear silicon and I'm into it.
That's weird.
So Hollywood exploded.
What?
And
Skipped it. How did you?
luckily they recovered from the explosion. No, I've got here. The local population exploded and it more than doubled in the 1920s.
More than doubled.
More than doubled.
Wow.
Tripled? It didn't quite triple.
But it somewhere between double and triple.
We need a word for that.
Yeah.
Triple?
Double and a half?
Yeah, double half.
No. Yeah, it's more than double. Double and a half. Let's say double and a half.
Stick with more than double.
So was it just farmland before this?
Yeah, pretty open area,
So
yeah.
Los Angeles didn't exist. I haven't got my head around the difference between
Yeah.
Los Angeles and Hollywood.
Well, yeah, there's still people there, but what caused the city to really take off was this
film,
industry.
yeah.
Really? Los Angeles is the biggest city in America because of movies.
Well, it's not the biggest city in America.
Wow. I'm learning so much.
I believe New York has more people.
Whoa.
And possibly more soul. Well, what you need to know is a bunch of people moved to Hollywood to start making films, and as is often in the way, people saw this and wanted to cash in.
Yeah.
So a syndicate of investors, led by the publisher of the LA Times, Harry Chandler, decided to launch a real estate venture.
Oh, could he be any more real estate venturing?
It was an upscale development underneath where the sign is today. They were basically selling house and land packages marketed as an escape from the bustling city.
Oh.
That was how they were selling Hollywood. That's fun.
Well, this is how they were selling Hollywood. They needed to advertise the development, and early on it was a bit wordy. They placed an ad, and this is what it read. See if you would buy from this ad.
Okay.
Will your family enjoy a delightful home in the clean, pure mountain air of Hollywood land?
Yes.
Yeah.
With its wonderful climate,
Oh.
broad open spaces, and plenty of elbow room?
Yes.
Or will you live in a dwelling in the flat, uninteresting houses in a row sections of the city, your family's freedom hampered by this maelstrom of human existence?
I don't want that.
Wow. Hey, do we really need to big ourselves up by pushing down others?
Yeah.
Hollywood? You fucking... Are we swearing on this?
We are now.
Well,
Well, I was about to say the big swear. So,
Thank you for your restraint.
thank you for thanking me. Is this what this is meant to be?
well, just 2 hours of us thanking you.
Thank you and thank you.
So that was the ad that they placed. Surprisingly, it didn't really capture the public's imagination. So they decided to think outside the box. It's again debated as to who had this thought, but someone suggested a giant billboard. But not just a billboard, a sign that would put the name of the housing estate on the map. The estate was called Hollywood Land, and in 1923, they built the giant letters that we all know today. So originally it had 4 more letters and read Hollywood Land.
What were the 4 more letters?
Hol. So these days it's just Leewood Land, which I love.
Hollywood Land. So it was literally a billboard for real estate.
For real estate.
So it may as well be like Taylor's Lakes or something.
Yeah. Caroline Springs.
That's what Hollywood was. It was just a Henley Properties estate
Come have a look.
with elbow
That's
room.
wild. I had no idea about that.
You could just say display homes here and then an arrow.
Yeah, that would have done the job too.
So I saw a sign like out about half an hour out of Melbourne for a new display village thing, and it said, "Do you want to live in the middle of everywhere?" I'm like, "Yeah." So why are you advertising living in a different place? It was literally in the middle of nowhere.
They have in brackets, don't live here.
They're like, nah, we're going to put in a BP, so got everything you need.
Yeah, but surely the selling point is, do you want to live away from everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind
Want a
of.
bit of peace and quiet?
Yeah,
Hey, do you want a backyard?
Oh my goodness.
You want a bit of that?
Or do you want to live in the maelstrom of human existence?
Oh my
Well, that
God,
sounds good too. Can't. Yeah.
Poetic words, really.
that's bleak.
I'm surprised by this. So it is. LA is an existing place, and Hollywood is like an estate on the outskirts.
Well, there's an area called Hollywood, but then to capitalise on people wanting to move to Hollywood, they've bought this land and said, let's market it as Hollywood Land.
Yeah, right.
And it's actually a long way away. At the time, it's like, oh, come here for a quiet break from the rest of the city.
Yeah.
But obviously over time it's expanded. But a road had to be built to get the materials to the sign of the site. But the last bit of the journey was so inaccessible that the materials had to be carried up the mountain by mules.
Yep. That means it's inaccessible.
Yeah.
Only mules will do.
Get them to swallow condoms full of drugs and send them up. These mules had to carry 60 telephone-sized poles that
And
would
if they
support...
burst in their rectums, that's bad news.
That is bad
That is
news.
bad news.
But that's on them. They will be disowned by the drug dealer in question. They had to carry 60 telephone-sized poles that would support the sign's letters.
Sorry. They are the size of telephone poles or the size of telephones?
That is a good question.
Because I know it was a long time ago, telephones were a bit bigger, but still, I
Yes,
could
so-
carry a couple of telephones, I reckon. Easy. Like telephone poles, massive
Telephone,
poles.
big time.
Great.
What year is this again?
1923.
Oh, good year.
Very good year. So the letters were 45 feet high and were made up of 1,320 pieces of thin sheet metal, and the media stunt cost a pretty penny. Back then it cost $21,000, which is over $250,000 US now.
Okay.
That feels
I love
like a good investment in an
Yeah.
icon.
Well, they didn't know it was going to be an icon. The plan was to put it up for 18 months.
Right.
Sell the properties, tear it down. That's the
Kind of
plan.
like Eiffel Tower was meant to be a temporary thing, but it became so much more.
So much more.
What is it?
The list goes on. Big spike in the sky.
Yep.
Hat stand.
Hat stand.
Hat stand, place to meet people.
I think someone's married to it. A groom.
Australians get engaged there.
Australians do. Only Australians.
Mainly Australian. Well, the only ones in my Facebook feed.
You can put magnets on it,
You can?
Is that true?
I assume.
Could you put a magnet of the Eiffel Tower on the Eiffel Tower? That's
No,
meta.
that's illegal. That is illegal. Now, something I didn't realise was the sign originally was covered with nearly 4,000 lights. And at night, the billboard flashed in 4 stages. It would say Holly, then Wood, then Land, and then Hollywood Land.
Oh, love it.
It's like it's regressed as a sign.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's gotten-
now at night you can't see it at all.
It's become
It goes away.
super analog when it was born in Dolby Digital Surround Sound.
Yeah, it's pretty boring now. Yawn.
Well, you yawn, but for many, the sign was a symbol of the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. But as for others, it came to represent the tough industry it towered over. Peg Entwistle was an actor that will be forever associated with the sign.
Peg
Oh,
and
yeah.
Whistle.
You know that name we all know. Peg Entwistle.
Oh, sorry, I'm mispronouncing that. Peggy Entwistle.
Peggy, yes. Peggy.
You know that name?
Entwistle.
I don't know the name, but I love that
It's a
name.
great name. Sadly, that name is associated with the sign for all the wrong reasons.
Oh.
Oh no.
Also, okay, yep. Go on.
She was a young actor in the 1930s.
Change your name then. If you're an actor.
No, that's a stage
That's
name.
her stage
that
name?
honestly is her stage name. I have not written down her full name.
Peggy
Her
Entwistle.
name's like Mary or something, and people call it Peg.
Yeah, Peg, I can see that. She's punched it up there. Married a Peg. Where did she come from to get to Entwistle?
Entwistle.
'Cause
It's
I love it.
clunky.
Well,
I think I need to make that clear. I love it.
she was Welsh, originally born in Wales.
So
Okay.
it's probably a lot longer.
Is that a Welsh
Originally
name?
born in Wales.
Yeah, then she was reborn.
But yeah, well, yeah, I mean, you're all reborn once you hit Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
Rebrand, that's what I'm looking
yes.
for. Young actor in the 1930s, and for a time the future looked bright. She'd had a tough start in life, moving from Wales to America to live with her aunt and uncle after her parents had died. Her aunt and uncle were in the theatre business, and Peg started acting. She picked up their scripts.
Bit of jazz hands.
Yeah, she had a talent. That's so rare these days. What am I playing the bagpipes? I don't know what I'm doing there.
You try to hold a book and do jazz hands. It's not an easy thing to do. But with my training,
Yeah, I reckon you can get me there.
It looked like to me that you were trying to get something out of the mule.
Hang on, give us a sec. Don't move. Do not move. And I cannot stress that enough. So she started performing in plays in New York and then back in LA. Things looked really up when she was offered an acting gig in a movie.
Ooh, that's where you want them.
And it
yeah, yeah.
Well, it was
not
so-
on a street.
Well, it was so tempting that she skipped out on 2 plays that she was booked for to
Literally?
take the job.
She skipped out.
That's happy. That's the happiest way to leave a play.
That's the
skipping
happiest way to
out.
leave anything, I reckon.
That's true.
Or if you've got access to a hoverboard, hover the fuck out of there.
Imagine if you could skip on a hoverboard.
Stop
Hover
it.
skip.
That's the future.
Well, sadly, this would blacklist her from the theatre scene because she bailed on the plays that she was... The professional plays. She said she'd be in them, rehearsed and everything, but then got this movie and said, I've got to do the movie.
Because at the time, wouldn't have theatre have been the more respectable thing?
Well, yeah, and I think
it was in the
sort of-
olden days,
and
if
2
I'm right.
separate scenes, as you know,
Yeah.
the theatre scene, the movie scene. But she's transitioning to film, or so she thinks. The movie role turned out to be not the big break that she'd hoped for.
Oh, no.
She played a woman in a lesbian relationship, but due to the motion picture production code at the time, thinking that this was too controversial to show to the American public, the studio was forced to drop that storyline, and Peg went from a main role to a small background cameo.
She was just a barista in a Starbucks in the background of a scene.
That was actually the first time Starbucks existed.
Yeah.
It
She
was a fictional
Yeah.
baristery,
It actually started as like a
which
bit
is
of
also that's what they used to call cafes.
baristery.
Baristeries.
Love that. I love history.
Yeah.
Don't you?
I love baristery history.
I
as
love
well.
baristery history.
I could read and write a book on it.
And he has.
I'd write it
There it
first
is,
and I'd
sitting next
read
to you,
it
I
back.
believe. You can read a passage for us. That would be
Sure.
most welcome.
I didn't want to steal your thunder, but
Please.
okay.
Hey, I know
Any
good
page in particular?
Page 10's my favourite.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember all my favourite pages of books.
Yeah, get a photographic memory, I believe, don't you?
Yeah.
There we go. Turn up the right way for a bit of a challenge.
Okay. The baristery industry was getting hot.
Oh,
Much like the milk that they frothed. Photographic
People
memory.
were moving to town.
which town? Sorry, you don't ask questions to someone who's reading a book.
I'm reading a
Sorry.
book.
I'm assuming the book will get to it.
Do you want me to get to page 12 and answer that question?
Choose your own adventure, is it?
All the men and women loved living in the foam, which is what they called Baristiville. And they ate little bickies.
Oh, right.
And they couldn't have been happier with their choices because they were living it up and they were ringing wrong.
Wow, I mean, you could have got an editor, but you didn't. And that's fine.
I wrote a stream of consciousness and I have no regrets.
Yeah, wow. Like all the greats, James Joyce, Virginia Woolf, Matt Stewart.
They ate little bickies.
Is that available in audiobook form?
It is, yeah. It is.
Great.
Who reads it? Is it you or Stephen Fry?
No, it is me.
Couldn't get Stephen Fry?
No, could. But I refused him. He begged. He begged to be involved. I said, Stephen,
Could but wouldn't.
this is my book. How dare you try and usurp me?
Yeah, good call.
You know nothing of the baristery.
You haven't done any of the research, Stephen.
I thought I could just slide in and take the glory.
Well,
Classic
if I can
Fry.
slide in here to take us away from fun and into tragedy.
Please.
Okay.
She tried to return to the theatre. This is Peg Entwistle after being put in the background at the baristery. But was not looked upon kindly for skipping out on the previous theatre role for cinema, and she was blacklisted. Sadly, on Friday the 16th, 1932, at the age of 24, she hiked up to the Hollywood sign and took her own life by jumping off the top of the H.
Oh, wow.
That is why she's forever associated with the sign.
Right. I wonder if you'd specifically choose a letter, or you wouldn't think about it.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, D for Dave
Yeah.
is what she could have thought.
But there's a bit of a rounded edge. At least the H, you got that middle level,
Yeah.
and then you can sort of get up. The
Yeah.
D, you've just got a big sort of empty
Yeah.
void in the middle, and then,
I used
the
to
round-
Much
Describe
like Dave,
me, yeah.
an empty void in the middle.
From here to here is empty.
Yeah.
So as I said, originally the sign was only meant to be out for 18 months and they planned to tear it down. But it stayed standing, becoming a bit of a landmark, but no one wanted to pay for the upkeep.
Right.
In 1933, the owners had stopped their maintenance. They only paid for that first 18 months. The marketing purposes had long gone and were starting to cost money, and over the years, the sign fell into disrepair. For a time, it actually became a bit of an eyesore, visible from all over Los Angeles. In 1936, the second O fell over.
Fell over.
Before two more letters joined it on the ground,
How did they fall?
in the wind.
Get out.
It's up on this hill.
Did nobody bolt it down?
Well, they didn't build it properly because they thought we're going to spend too much money on it.
Yeah, and it's only going to be up for a short
Yeah,
time.
it's crappy wood at the time.
Yeah,
Much like the Eiffel Tower.
yeah.
It fell over
Fell over.
twice.
Crappy
Yep.
wood.
Crappy wood.
Yeah,
That's why the magnets didn't stick,
yeah. Don't know why we thought they would.
because the wood was crappy. Not that sweet magnetic wood.
Yes. Oh, man.
So three letters have fallen over, and the company that built it gave into public pressure and paid a small fortune to have it repaired. In December 1944, the owners of the sign, sick of having to pay this upkeep, donated it and the 425 acres around it to the city of LA for the token price of $1. The city then added it to Griffith Park.
$1. That's an absolute bargain.
Yeah, it's funny when deals like that get done, and it's just for legalities, right? They have to pay something.
Got to pay something.
Yeah.
But you think now it was under the control of the city, this is where its icon status really took off. It would surely get the respect it deserves.
Yeah.
And it's still got land?
Still got land. But not long after acquiring it, the H was knocked over in the wind and then lay on the ground for nearly 6 years.
What?
So for 6 years, it read Hollywood Land.
Hollywood land.
I like it.
All right, Governor. Welcome to Hollywood land.
Did you just black out for a bit there? Come back to us, Matt.
And you're back in the room.
What?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
In 1947, the city's Recreation and Parks Commission suggested the whole sign be torn down, but residents luckily rallied against this decision.
Really?
So they...
But they liked it even though it had fallen over and it had been not saying Hollywood for a long time.
For 6 years, it said Hollywood Land, and people were like, oh, I love Hollywood Land. I love it.
Wow. That's
Dick
cool.
Van Dyke.
I love it.
Dick Van Dyke actually played. There was a man whose job was to live up next to the sign, and it was his job for many years when it had lights to change the nearly 4,000 lights. And Dick Van Dyke actually played that guy in a film.
What?
Seriously, yeah. Wasn't going to include that, but there
Here
it
we
is.
are.
Bit of a bonus.
So what film was that?
It was a short film.
Okay.
Possibly,
Very short.
Possibly educational.
So 4,000 globes he's got to change.
Hmm.
And they're not all going out at once. Do you reckon every day at least one of them's out?
I reckon.
God, that'd be annoying.
That's your full-time job. Oh, today I got to change one globe. Great. I'm Dick Van Dyke. Fantastic. Actually, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Happy to be Dick. I always say
Me
that.
too. The Hollywood Chamber of Commerce President John Kingsley entered the argument by offering, on behalf of the Chamber, to finance the resurrection of the H, provided the last four letters land were removed so it would represent the whole city.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's smart.
So there was years of debate, but this finally happened, and this is when the sign went from Hollywoodland to just plain old Hollywood, as we know it today.
As
when-
we know it.
What are we up to now, year-wise?
Well, that was the 1940s, and it went through a couple of small facelifts and minor repair jobs over the next 2 decades. And despite being recognised as a historical cultural monument by the city of LA in 1973, by 1978 it was obvious that the sign had seen better days. It was never designed to last for this many decades, and the wood supporting the letters had rotted away and was further damaged in a storm. So in 1978, the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce launched a Save the Sign campaign with a goal of raising $250,000 to replace the old sign with an exact replica built out of stronger materials.
Right.
Rock and roll legend Alice Cooper pledged $27,700 to repair the third O.
27,700.
Weird amount of money.
Well, I think it's kind of 1/9. He basically bought one letter.
I see.
He said, you replace that.
Okay. I still hate it.
I love it.
It's such a weird number. Like, give 25 grand.
And he said-
give 30. 27,700. Oh.
Sorry. He
Dave
said,
just explained it so perfectly and you want
I
to
know.
accept that?
I said that I get it, but I still don't like it.
just doesn't sound like you get it.
I'm not sure if you get it.
Look, do I need to get the calculator out? So he said, I want to rebuild the third O in honour of Groucho Marx, the legend who had died the previous year.
Yeah, classic third O. He was the third O of the Marx Brothers.
We've all said it.
Yep. Bruno and Cedric were the other two O's. There. They the other Marx Brothers?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, nailed it. Zippy, Jippy, Cedro and Guacamole. Warner Brothers Records announced they would also contribute $27,700 for the replacement of the second O. Playboy magazine founder Hugh Hefner held a fundraising night at the Playboy Mansion to support the sign. At the event, Moon River singer Andy Williams announced that he would pledge to rebuild the letter W.
For Williams.
River, lobby doobie doo.
I didn't think he would play it, and then bam, second encore. It's a Simpsons reference. Thank you so much. Hefner's event raised over $45,000, and the letter Y was dedicated to him. So now all these letters are dedicated to these celebrities.
What's going to be the last letter chosen? The poor little last kid picked for the sports team.
People got to step up.
I mean, we all have favourite letters, sure, but
reckon-
aren't they all necessary?
It's the second L. It's just a stick.
Ah.
No one
Good
wants
point.
that.
Good point.
They only use sticks?
Yeah, well, that's part of why they need to rebuild it, because they literally just put
They are
sticks
just
up.
sticks. Other donors came forward, including Terence Donnelly, a publisher of the Hollywood Independent newspaper, Italian movie producer Giovanni Mazza, and actor Gene Autry, and eventually the money was raised. The old sign was ripped down, and for the first time in 55 years, Hollywood had no sign. It took 3 months for the new sign to fully go up, this time supported by steel girders dropped in by helicopters.
That makes more sense than
It
mules.
was mules on the end of a helicopter,
Yeah.
lowered down.
But
with a
wearing
pole.
hard hats this time
Yeah.
because we've learnt.
That's right.
And our safety is better now.
We respect animals.
And it being Hollywood, they also had bellies full of coke.
Yeah.
Classic mule.
This time without condoms.
And they also had big dreams.
Yeah.
As Hollywood.
Belly
That's
full
why
of-
they were there.
Belly full of dreams stuffed into condoms,
Yeah.
swallowed one by one. It was unveiled in November 1978.
78, cool.
This new sign was built to stand the test of time, and the only real threat to it since has been commercial development around it. In the 2000s, it looked like housing could be built close to the sign, but a fundraiser called Save the Peak was launched to raise the money to buy the land. Hugh Hefner again came to the rescue, And it was his $1 million donation that got the $12 million fundraiser over the line. Hugh Hefner later said, "It represents Hollywood dreams."
Oh, that's beautiful. Hef.
It does seem like it'd be short-sighted to muck with that with housing, right? Just places where people can live, you know?
Yeah.
This is letters on a hill.
Guys,
Yeah.
this is so much more than that.
Yeah.
He makes such a good point.
This is letters on a hill with a small shack nearby where a man used to live that was later played by
A
Dick Van
man.
Dyke.
Yeah. Please, bit of respect. I like to think it was Dick Van Dyke.
Who looks after it now?
Dick Van Dyke's son, Barry Van Dyke, who was also his son in Diagnosis Murder.
Which is one of the greatest shows of all time, which Jess would be aware of.
I'm sure you're aware of that.
Of course.
The son, Barry Van Dyke, was a cop. Dick was a doctor.
Yeah, Dr. Mark Sloan, his
The
son.
two of them solved a crime every week.
Yes.
Doctor dad, cop son, coming together.
Beautiful.
It's real nice.
Beautiful.
Fantastic.
And makes sense.
And then-
of course the doctor's solving the crime.
Of course.
And they also got nearly every other one of Dick Van Dyke's relatives to play characters on the show. I think they're
Cedric Van Dyke, Bruno Van Dyke.
Guacamole Van Dyke. I believe that Barry Van Dyke's son, so Dick's grandson, whose name is Shane Van Dyke, played, I think, 8 or 9 separate characters on the show throughout the series. They just
Yes.
kept bringing him back.
Dick, Shane and Barry. Name a more iconic trio.
Groucho, Guacamole, and Zippy.
Well, it's close, but I think Dick, Barry and Shane have got the chocolates.
They've
Dick, Barry
got
and
the
Shane.
chocolates.
Holy shit, that's so good. That's my favourite fact of all time. The Van Dyke, 3 generations. Dick, Barry and Shane.
Yes.
That's sort of like an old school version of Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Which one were you,
Dick, Barry, which always Shane.
Well, I'm definitely shaning Barry.
Funnily enough, a Dick.
Leaving Barry for Shane.
That's the game every time. You got a Dick, Barry and Shane, Dick, Barry and Shane.
Oh.
It's a tough
The
one.
combinations are endless.
I'm going to stick with what I said yesterday when we played it last. I'm Dick and Dick. Barrying Shane and Shaning Barry.
So these days it just says Hollywood, and it looks like the letters won't be falling down again anytime soon. But if you look up at Mount Lee, the mountain where it is, it doesn't always say Hollywood. Over the years, there's been some pranksters afoot.
Oh.
They've changed the lettering.
Oh, what have they done? What have they done now?
In 1976 and 2017, people have pranked it to say Holly Weed. Both times to mark looser state marijuana laws being passed in
It's
California.
420 somewhere, isn't it?
How do they do it? How do they make O's look like E's?
They hang stuff over their
That
O's.
makes more sense, yes.
Like that.
They hang stuff.
I was just like, but it's an O. How do you put the thing
Yeah, they
in
temporarily knock it down.
Yeah, got it.
Other times, letters have been hung over the existing characters to change it completely. Other times it said, in 1987, it said Caltech to represent the California Institute of Technology.
Okay, that's less funny.
Go Caltech.
They would have had to hang a lot of things in front to change it that way.
Yeah.
It looks completely different.
Honestly, that's just a different sign.
Yeah.
It was changed to Perot Wood when Ross Perot was running for US president in the 90s.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah, and that went real well. And we'll always have President
Perot.
the man you just said. We all remember him well.
Ross Perot.
What a great stint he had there in the old Oval Office, which is the place that they do
Well, they-
all of their business.
They hung a sign over it. It was actually the Square office when he was.
That's fun. I love Hollywood pranksters.
My personal favourite is when in 1993 it was changed to read Jolly Good.
Oh, that's good.
Jolly
That
Good?
was when Dick Van Dyke was in town. In my head, Dick Van Dyke is permanently his
He's up there.
English character from Mary Poppins. Jolly good.
Yeah.
That was as good of an English accent as he did in the film.
That was actually a little too good.
Yeah.
That was offensively good. So it said Jolly Good in 1993, something that Richard Branson would organise again in the year 2000 when Virgin started flying non-stop from LA to London.
Another man with an unconvincing English accent.
Richard Branson. So it said Jolly Good.
Hello, I'm Richard Branson.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good Richard Branson.
Oh, let's fly on a plane. I'm a madman. I'm all right, good on me.
He is famously evil
Is he really?
and mad. That's not true. Don't sue me, Richard. And you know, at first I read that it was changed for a media stunt to advertise something, and also Pepsi have had a figurine put up there, a figure put on there. Movies have been launched by putting things up there, and at first I was like, well, how awful, they've taken an icon and turns it into little more than a bit of marketing. Yeah. And then I remembered that the whole reason it's there was for marketing in the first place.
And marketing something pretty dull too.
Yeah. House and land packages.
Yeah.
Man.
Unless you're into that. But I mean, as an artist, you'll never own a home. It's not particularly
Just called
interesting.
herself an artist.
Yeah. That's the
That
issue.
was all a ruse. We were sucking you in. She did it. We got it. Wrap it up. We got it.
Well, it is time to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining me in the library.
Thanks so much for having us in your library.
It's our library.
Our library.
Right, we'll never own a home, but we will own a library.
Yes. All of those books are real.
Yes.
Yes, but that is it for the Hollywood Sign. If you want to hear more from us, this is a spin-off from our podcast Do Go On, which has over 200 episodes. We've covered other classic Hollywood topics like Marilyn Monroe, the drowning of Natalie Wood, the Black Dahlia murder, and who could forget the life of Hugh Hefner. Subscribe for free on your favourite podcast app, and be sure to subscribe to this channel to check out our other episodes.
I reckon he nailed it. Well done, Dave.
Thank you.
Dave's a loser. Ha ha!